I stood alone at Helen's funeral on a gray Tuesday morning. My name is George. I'm 69 years old, and I watched as they lowered my wife into the earth at Evergreen Memorial Gardens in Seattle. The service had been sparse, just myself, a substitute pastor who'd never spoken to Helen, and 46 years of marriage disappearing into the ground. Out of habit, I checked my phone. Nothing. I scrolled through Facebook instead. There was my son Marcus, 41, posting from a corporate golf tournament in Scottsdale. Expensive polo shirt, trophy in hand. The post was from 5 hours ago. Crushing it. Success is a mindset. Hashtag winning Wednesday. I scrolled further. My daughter Jessica, 36, was live streaming from an empowerment brunch in Austin. Mimosa in hand, designer sunglasses perched on her head. Posted 3 hours ago. Prioritizing me today. You can't pour from an empty cup. They chose their careers. They chose their personal brands over saying goodbye to the woman who gave them life. They assumed I was just a worn-out plumber, someone from a forgotten generation, someone who could be handled later, after the important things. They had no idea what Helen had left behind for me. But what they said when they finally showed up the next morning would change everything forever. The doorbell rang at 8:30 a.m. I'd been awake since dawn. The house felt hollow without her breathing beside me. When I opened the door, there stood Marcus and Jessica. Neither were morning clothes. Marcus had on a navy blazer and jeans, the kind of outfit he'd wear to a casual investor meeting. Jessica wore athletic wear, expensive leggings, and a cropped hoodie. Her makeup was Instagram ready. They carried Starbucks cups and a white bakery box. "Hey, Pop," Marcus said, brushing past me. His cologne was overpowering in the narrow entryway. "We brought pastries," Jessica announced, setting a Vinny latte on the kitchen counter. "Your usual, extra shot, no sugar. Figured you could use it." That small gesture, that rehearsed kindness, felt like betrayal. I sat at the kitchen table. This was Helen's domain. It should have smelled like her blueberry muffins and tea. Instead, it smelled like expensive coffee and calculated sympathy. Marcus took the seat opposite me. He exhaled slowly, dramatically. "Pop, about yesterday. About missing the funeral. I need you to understand. I was locked into a presentation for the Silverdale investors. 18 months of negotiations. $22 million on the line. I'm the VP of acquisitions. I couldn't bail." His eyes were Helen's shade of hazel, but completely empty of her warmth. "Mom would have gotten it," he added, turning the knife. She always understood the stakes. Jessica, who'd been photographing her latte for a story, finally looked up. "And my workshop, Dad." It was non-refundable. A 3-day intensive with a celebrity life coach. 50 people flew in specifically to work with me. I'm building a platform. I had obligations. Platform. The word hung in the air like smoke. I studied my daughter. At 36, she'd become a carefully curated illusion. All hashtags and sponsored content. I remembered a 7-year-old who sobbed for days when our cat died, who made a shrine with drawings and kept the collar in her pillowcase. Where did that child go? It's not black and white, Jessica continued, sipping her drink. You couldn't possibly understand the ecosystem I'm in. I let silence fill the space. Anyway, I'm destroyed inside, she said flatly. It happened so suddenly. Suddenly, Helen had battled congestive heart failure for 11 months. 11 months of specialists, medications, and gradual decline. 11 months where I never left her side. 11 months where Marcus was buried in acquisitions and Jessica had a wellness retreat she absolutely couldn't reschedule. "We sent flowers," Marcus interjected. "Premium arrangement. Very elegant." The flowers had arrived with a generic card. "With deepest sympathy, Marcus and Jessica Patterson." Even the message was templated. They'd ordered it online. "Pop, we need to have a conversation," Marcus said, the false empathy evaporating. "A practical conversation. About what?" "About settling Mom's affairs," he said, glancing at Jessica. "About doing what's smart for everyone." He stood, retrieved his leather messenger bag from the hallway, and returned with a manila folder. The sound of it sliding across the table echoed through the kitchen. "What is this?" "Mom's estate," he said, voice dropping into business mode. "Or more accurately, the problem with it. She died without a will, Pop. That means under Washington state law, the estate gets divided. You get the statutory share, but we're entitled to portions." My chest tightened. "The house specifically," Jessica added on cue. "It's valued at $1.9 million in the current market. That's substantial equity doing nothing." Marcus nodded, sliding out a page. "Exactly. And honestly, Pop, this place is too much for you now. 3 bedrooms, 2 floors, the yard maintenance. You're 69. You should be in something manageable." He flipped open the folder. Inside were printed listings, 1-bedroom condos in Renton. Small, cheap, forgettable. "We've already contacted a realtor," Marcus continued. She can list by end of week. With this market, we'll close by March. You take your share, buy something simple, pocket the difference. And what about your shares? I asked quietly. Marcus smiled without warmth. Obviously, Jessica and I would receive our portions after your statutory share. It's equitable. We're her children too. Equitable. The word tasted like poison. Pop, please, Jessica said, placing her hand over mine. Her nails were professionally done, gel manicure, nude color. Don't complicate this. We're all grieving, but we need to be strategic. Market timing matters. If we delay, we could lose equity. She didn't even fake tears. But what I was about to tell them would expose just how wrong they were about everything. This house, I said slowly, is where your mother taught you to swim in that blow-up pool. Where we celebrated every birthday. Where she read you stories every single night. Exactly, Marcus said. Memories. But Pop, those are intangible. This is a $2 million asset being wasted. $2 million. He'd already had it appraised. I need time, I said. Marcus's composure cracked. You don't need time. This is straightforward. Sign the listing contract. Let us handle the details. You're grieving. You're not capable of making sound decisions right now. I stood up. My knees ached, but I felt something sharper. A cold fury I hadn't experienced since my last emergency call 30 years ago. I want you both to leave. Pop, don't be ridiculous, Marcus hissed, leaning forward. We have legal rights to half this house. You can't just ignore that. Get out of my home. You'll regret this, Jessica said, voice shaking with anger rather than sorrow. We're trying to protect you. I walked to the door and opened it. Cold February air rushed in. They left, but I heard Marcus on his phone before reaching his BMW. Get me Phillips from litigation. I closed the door and stood in the silence. Then I remembered the safe deposit box key. Helen had given it to me 3 weeks before she died, her hands trembling so badly I had to steady them. She pressed the small key into my palm at Swedish Medical Center. When I'm gone, she'd whispered, go to First National. Box 429. Don't tell them anything. Only you. I hadn't understood then. I understood now. And what Helen had hidden in that box would give me the power to fight back in ways they never imagined. At First National on Pike Street, our bank for 38 years, I presented Helen's death certificate and the key. The branch manager, Linda, who'd known Helen from volunteer work, escorted me to the vault and left me alone. Inside box 429 sat a manila envelope and a flash drive. The envelope bore my name in Helen's handwriting. Inside were several documents and a letter. The top document made my heart stop. Statutory warranty deed, sole grantee, George David Patterson. Dated 4 months ago. Helen had transferred our house into my name alone before she became too weak. But the letter destroyed me. My beloved George, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry for so many things, for the secrets, for what our children became, for leaving you alone. But you're not defenseless. I made certain of that. I know Marcus and Jessica came for the house. I knew they would. My love, they've been taking from us for years, and I was too afraid to stop them. Marcus borrowed $165,000 from us 6 years ago for his investment syndicate. Remember? He promised repayment in 9 months. He never paid a cent. Every time I asked, he had excuses. Market downturn, restructuring, next fiscal quarter. Jessica took $82,000 for her wellness brand startup. It collapsed within 7 months. She never mentioned it again, just moved to the next scheme, the next sponsored post. I paid silently because I didn't want you to see what they'd become. But my silence poisoned them further. It taught them we were just resources to extract. When the cardiologist said I had 6 months maximum, I knew what would happen next. I knew they'd circle you like vultures. So I did what was necessary. I transferred the house exclusively into your name. The deed is ironclad. It was my inheritance from my parents, so community property rules don't apply. The attorney confirmed it. It's yours completely. But there's more. There's something you need to see, something I recorded. It's on the flash drive. I did it while you were at your woodworking class. I'm sorry you have to witness this, but you need to understand who they really are. I've loved you since I was 24 years old, George. You're the finest man I've ever known. You deserve peace. You deserve to live without predators stalking you. So I built you armor. Use it. Forever yours. Helen and I sat in that small vault room, unable to breathe. I plugged the flash drive into my phone with my adapter. One video file, dated December 3rd, for weeks before she died. I pressed play, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to see my own son do. The footage was shaky. Helen had propped her phone on the dresser in our bedroom. She sat in the recliner we'd moved upstairs when climbing became impossible. She looked diminished, exhausted. Then Marcus entered the frame. "Mom, we need to talk." His tone wasn't gentle, it was irritated. "About what, sweetheart?" "About Pop. About this house. About what happens when you're gone." "Marcus, I'm very tired. Can we?" "No, we can't do this later. You keep avoiding me. Jessica and I have discussed this extensively. We're concerned." "Concerned about what?" "About Pop managing everything alone." "Mom, be realistic. He's almost 70. He's had hip replacement surgery. He barely understands smartphones. How's he going to handle finances? Property management? The estate? Your father is perfectly competent." "Is he, though?" "Mom, I love Pop, but he's from a different era. He doesn't understand asset appreciation or market volatility. He'll just stay in this house until he dies, and then what? The market could crash. We could lose hundreds of thousands." "Marcus, this is inappropriate." "When is it appropriate, Mom?" His voice escalated. "When you're dead. When it's too late. I'm trying to protect this family, but I need your cooperation. I need you to sign this." Rustling sounds. "Papers. What is this?" "Transfer of beneficial interest. It creates a trust. Jessica and I become trustees. We'll manage the property for Pop's benefit. Ensure the asset is preserved. This document transfers the house to you and Jessica, not to your father." "Well, technically yes. But Pop retains life tenancy. He can live here indefinitely. We're just ensuring proper asset protection." "Marcus, absolutely not. This is your father's home." "Mom, you're not thinking rationally. You're ill. This is what's optimal. Trust me, I do this professionally." I said no. Long silence. When Marcus spoke again, his voice was ice. "Fine. Then we do this the difficult way. When you die intestate, the house goes to probate. Jessica and I will contest Pop's claims. It'll take years. Tens of thousands in legal fees. Is that what you want? Pop spending his final years battling us in court. You wouldn't dare. Test me." "Mom, you have two options. Sign this now. We handle everything quietly. Pop never knows. Or refuse, and we destroy him. We'll tie up probate for years. We'll claim he manipulated you. We'll argue diminished capacity. We'll make him look incompetent and pathetic." Helen was crying now. I could hear it clearly. "How did you become this?" she whispered. "I became strategic, Mom. Now sign. Get out." "What?" "Get out of my room. Out of this house." "Mom, get out." She was screaming, weak but screaming. "Get out, or I'm calling 911. I'll tell them you're attempting to extort a dying woman." Silence. Then footsteps. The door slammed. The video continued. Helen sat there weeping. Then she looked directly at the camera, directly at me. "George," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry you had to witness that. But now you know the truth. Now you understand. The children we raised are gone. These people are strangers. Don't give them anything. Don't show them mercy. They'd show you none. I love you. Be strong." The video ended. And in that moment, I knew exactly what I had to do, and they were going to pay for what they'd done. I contacted Sharon Kim, the attorney whose name appeared on the deed transfer. She saw me that same afternoon. "Your wife was brilliant," Sharon said after reviewing everything. "The house is exclusively yours. The transfer was executed properly. She was documented as mentally competent. We have the physician's certification, the notary's attestation. It's unassailable. They'll fight. Let them. They'll lose catastrophically." "There's something else," Sharon continued. "Your wife established an education trust for your grandchildren, Marcus's twins and Jessica's son. She deposited $175,000 for their college funds. With one condition." "What condition?" "Marcus and Jessica have zero access. The funds transfer directly to the children at age 18. Your wife told me she wanted to preserve something pure for the next generation. $175,000. Money Helen had inherited from her parents. Money she'd protected from our children's greed. 4 days later, Marcus's attorney sent a formal letter challenging the deed transfer. They alleged coercion, diminished capacity, undue influence. Sharon filed our response, including the video. Marcus's attorney withdrew within 72 hours. But they didn't surrender. Jessica called crying, manufactured tears. Dad, please. My landlord is evicting me. I need help. Just temporary. You have an income. The algorithm changed. My engagement dropped. Sponsorships disappeared. Dad, please, I'm your daughter. My daughter wouldn't have tried to steal my home. I ended the call. Marcus appeared at my door at midnight, clearly drunk, pounding. You can't do this. That house is rightfully mine. I called the police. They removed him with a warning. I changed all the locks, installed security cameras. But what I decided to do next would shock them even more than anything that came before. I did what Helen wanted. I lived. I sold the house. Not to enrich Marcus and Jessica, but because Helen was right. It was too large, too many stairs, too many memories that now caused pain. Sold for $2.3 million. I bought a 2-bedroom condo in Ballard. Modern, accessible, with a view of the Sound. Everything on one level. The remaining money, I added another $600,000 to Helen's education trust. The attorney ensured Marcus and Jessica couldn't access it, borrow against it, or manipulate the children into surrendering it. Those grandchildren, they're 8, 6, and 4 now. They don't know what their parents attempted. Eventually they will, but for now, they have futures. They have education secured. They have something their parents can't corrupt. I see them occasionally. Marcus brings them now, not from remorse, but because his wife discovered the video and threatened divorce unless he reconciled. The visits are tense, artificial, but the grandchildren don't perceive that. They just know Grandpa has cookies and takes them to the aquarium. Marcus and Jessica are different now, quieter, diminished. Jessica got legitimate employment at a fitness center, teaching classes. Not glamorous, but honest. I meet my old crew from the plumbing company for breakfast. We tell old stories. I'm not really a father anymore. That relationship died when my children chose greed over love. But I'm still a grandfather. I'm still Helen's husband, even in death. I'm still George Patterson. And for the first time in years, that's enough. This story teaches us that love doesn't mean enabling destruction. It shows that the people we love most can become strangers. It proves that real strength isn't about force or volume. It's about having courage to say no, to establish boundaries, to protect yourself from those who weaponize your love. Helen's final act wasn't just about saving the house. It was about saving me. About giving me permission to live without guilt, without obligation to people who'd stopped being family long ago. It reminds us it's never too late to start over. That peace isn't found in wealth or status or perfect children. It's found in knowing you did what was right, in honoring those who truly loved you, in refusing to be a victim. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have fought back? Would you have given in? Would you have found the strength to walk away? Let me know in the comments below.